welcome back. We'll get straight into this. Now building some cross braces for the tub, because it is time for the tub to go back together. Now we're building the frame, so we're putting 3 of these. Now, don't get me wrong, they're nowhere near as strong as what those are down there on that original floor. And you've also got to remember, on the original floor, you've got ridges as well. I'm going to weld them in. They're not strong enough yet, but what I'm debating about doing is doing some girder work in the middle, a couple of little V pieces with some smaller steel. Hopefully then, and that'll come up, because there's got to be stilts put in along here as well, because I've got to spread the load along the chassis, but I'll weld them in after, and then I'll weld the cross struts across each side, and then hopefully that will give me the strength I need up that end, so if I do drop say like a Rover V8 in the back, it won't bend the damn thing up and watch it collapse. They're all chopped and welded in. Just got to clean up that area with the grinder. I did blow through in a couple of places because the metal was really thin. Yes, it's rusty as well, but hammerite that up, it will be fine, considering it's under the truck anyway, and it will go rusty regardless. There's absolutely no point in really worrying too much about it at this point. We've got one more beam to put in, which is on the floor over there. I've chopped those ones down and very badly welded them, so I didn't clear the paint. I'm hoping now she'll sit at the exact alignment that it needs to be at to make that gap perfect all the way down. Right, there you go, the main supports are in, but I'm not happy with that welding because I think the gas might have run out. It's not great, so tomorrow, reluctantly, we're going to pull my welder out and we're going to get over the whole blooming lot and try and reinforce all of that. Yeah, I bet you anything you want, they'll all break. There you go. That was knackering. This old scrap checker plate that I had lying around, that bit there was actually given to me by a young lady by the name of Aaron, which was meant to go in the rat rod. It was actually cut to fit, but my needs are greater for this than it is for that at the moment, so it got repurposed for this. This one I picked up from the scrapyard a little while back, and this one was hard work because it had tar stuck to it. Now Mark, who's another subscriber, thank you, because those wire brushes you gave me, the ones that are designed to clean out flues and chimneys and whatnot, the one with the little razor blades was the one I used because there was nothing else that would do it, to scrape off all of the tar. The tar had gone rock hard, but if you put a grinder and a wire brush on it, it was melting the tar in, and it was a nightmare to get off. In the end we used that one on a drill, and that literally wiped the floor clean with it, so it was great. But we were running out of time, so it never got polished up properly. So tomorrow we're going to clean up all the sealant, and that's the other thing, you gave me some sealant as well. I don't know what this stuff is, mate, but it's flipping brilliant. That goes off very quick though. You've not got a lot of working time with it, which makes it handy for some jobs but not so for others. But this has been great. So yeah, I will reseal everything. There's a few holes that I couldn't get rid of. Some I put pot rivets over, as you can see, but the rest just got left because there is some random pot rivets, and in the middle was where the scrapyard had used an oxyacetylene and had burnt a bolt out and messed up all the aluminium, so I had to put a plate over the top of that hole, and it bulged a bit, as you can see. There's not a lot I could have done about that, but it is what it is. I love that saying. But I would say out of all the jobs I've had to do, actually lining that bed has been the hardest of the whole lot. That has worked my arse off, that one has. All of the cross bracing I had to put underneath, everything. That is the hardest of all the ones I've had to do so far to date. And it's the one I've not enjoyed the most as well. Maybe that's why it was hard, because I wasn't enjoying it. But it's done. Now I've got the tailgate to worry about. I have got the panels. I could put them back. What I'm thinking of doing, and because I've already got it on the back, I'm thinking about just lining it with some checker plate. But this time I'm going to let the checker plate, when I cut it all out, I'm going to let the sealant go hard before I rivet it down, because if I have to remove those panels, it will be that little bit easier than what it would if I was to seal them down permanently. Just to give you an idea of how much metal has been removed, I don't know if you can see that very well. All of that. 2 cross members, 2 sets of seals, loads of little tiny bits of whatever the hell they are that came out of the chassis, plus the floors and a couple of floor cross members. So, you're going to buy a pickup truck, be very cautious. Very cautious. Anyway, tomorrow, well, you already know. Physically and mentally, I'm burning out. I've had nothing but trouble with these damn wheel arches. I tried one thing with the wing, like pulling the wing further out with the intentions of pulling this out at a later date, but that looked terrible. So we've gone back to that, and the conclusion I came to is due to the fact that the truck has more straight, square edge lines, that maybe we're better off putting like a Jeep wing on you know, extension on there instead of these curved ones. We're already going to fiberglass this up at a later date if I ever get round to it. The front wings are now destroyed because I messed them up at the bottom, and I've had to cut some of the wing apart in order to accommodate the wheel, and I still think it's going to hit when we go over bumps. In fact, I know it is. See what I've had to do, and that plastic trim in there is probably more destructive to the truck than it is removing it. Shall I tell you why? It's because water and dirt gets stuck behind it and it stays there and it doesn't come out. So my intentions are to lose these mudguards or arches at some point and either get my hands on some cheap ones or make my own using polyurethane as a mould, as I did over there, going up squarish with it, because look, there's straight lines everywhere, straight line through there, straight line on the bonnet, straight line on the roof, straight line on the buck, there's straight lines on the windows. I mean, everywhere you look is a straight square line. Even the shape of the truck is square. If you look at the back, it's all square. So I actually don't see no reason why we don't go with a Jeepy look. So we go from the wheel arch, we go up, across, and then down. The front one, well, we've got this overhang on the bumper here, so we can go up, across, right the way across, and then down against that wing edge. These don't work. They don't work because of that bit, and they don't work because of that bit, because for some unknown reason Nissan decided to put the wheels further towards the doors. I don't understand that, and it has been quite a nightmare trying to get these wheels to work, and I still haven't quite got there yet. I need to take out some metal underneath, but before I do that, I'm going to see if I can find a garage, because I can't get those torsion bars off. If we can get another inch out of those torsion bars, we should be fine. But at the moment, it ain't looking good. What will end up happening is, you see where that hole I drilled for a screw, all of that will have to get cut out. That is actually quite structural, and I'll have to put a 6mm thick plate back in to give the car its strength at that point. It's actually holding the body mount. I mean, I could go another inch up, but then that starts giving me problems with brake lines, gearbox, steering, everything. That extra inch will mess this up, and I will end up having to spend a lot of money extending everything that don't reach. Even the gear stick will extend further because and the draw backwards and forwards will be longer because the hole that the gear stick is going through will be further up, higher, and it will change everything inside that cab. It'll make it really uncomfortable. You know, I like the little short stroke backwards and forwards on the gear stick. I don't like transit style ones where the gear stick's half a mile up and you've got to go metre that way, metre that way. I know it's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. So, all the wiring up the front is now put back on the battery. The battery has now been, I put new connectors on that. The wheel arches, they're a disaster, they are. I've actually buggered up my wing down the bottom there. But I've put spats on the side of the spats. But I do have my eye on something on eBay. And I think what we might do, and it is based on the fact that everything on that truck is in squares and straight lines as we spoke about, as I am going to look for a Jeep Wrangler style mud eyebrow stroke whatever. So I'm going to see what I can turn up. They're bloody expensive, but there might be something cheap come up that I can use as a mould and fiberglass something and maybe become successful. Those rear ones are knackered, but the metalwork on the tub is knackered anyway, so we're going to fiberglass a new tub sides eventually if I can get away with it. So yeah, anyway, air horn is on. Air horn don't work. Bollocks. Did that the last time. Now what's the matter with the damn thing? Did work. Oh well, back in a little while. Figure that one out now. Yeah, look at that. Not good. That's what I think the problem is. I think that rubber swelled. We'll let that cool down. And then when it's cut, look at that air just racing out of there. I bet you it's that hose. I do have a homemade one with a hydraulic motor on it, you know, from a hydraulic unit. If it really is going to be that much of a pain in the arse, I'll cut all the fittings off that, weld them onto that other tank, and I'll put that in the back. It's a lot bigger capacity, faster to pump the air, stronger all round really, and it's homemade and it works. And it works really well. So that could find its way in here instead of the rat rod. Because I really want air horns on this. It's just so handy when people cut you up, especially on the motorways and stuff. I think they've got a lorry coming out beside them. They soon shift or wake up from being in a doze. Oh, it's been a long day. Well, we had no brake lights in case any of you had forgotten. And I have now finally figured out what the hell is going on. It only took me about 3 hours or more. So the fuses were not blown. The switches had power. The power was coming down the line to about there. But when I put a test meter up this end, there was no power going to the light, so I thought maybe the plug is up the crapper. So I stripped all the wires off. Somebody had put those chock blocks in, you know, the press-in ones for the tail thing. I've removed that temporarily because it needs a new plug on the tow bar anyway, but I've soldered all of those wires up now, and I still had no power. What the hell is going on? But I have power coming down that line, but there is nothing coming out that end. So it's not the plug. I've checked it by putting power to the plug. All the lights were lighting up, not a problem. Okay, it's not an earth because the main light is working. The main light, if the earth was not working, the main lights would not come on. Okay, so we know it ain't the earth. And then at that point I thought, okay, well, we only have one other option then. So I took power from the line down here that was working, soldered a new set of wires on, hence all this lot here, look. Ignore those, but I used electrical cable to, I needed something that was insulated. You see that grey one? So I took the green wire from that grey wire and I reconnected it up into there, and I threaded it all the way through. I snipped the green wire off at the loom this end and then reattached, and then the brake lights, would you believe, are working. So somewhere under here is a break in the wiring, and when I was threading through I noticed that the wiring that goes through the floor and in is held in with a clamp, literally clamped on that cross beam that goes through the middle, and it was tight. So I snipped a cable tie that the factory had put on, that loosened it all off. And I think what has happened is when I jacked this body up 3 inches, I pulled the wires and I've managed to snap one. And that is what I think happened. Right, we are finally finished. It's the end of the video. She is now MOT ready, or as close as possible. A few little things I might need to sort out as the day go by, but I ain't overly worried. I don't have to do it if I don't want to. There's a strap that needs putting back on under there. Things that we didn't get done that aren't essential but would have been handy. I could have done with de-rusting that front axle down. I could have done with getting that torsion bar off and going up 1 inch, a couple of teeth more than what it is at, because we are hitting on bumps as I thought I would. But that's all stuff we can address after. At the moment, none of that comes into the MOT. There is one thing that is occurring though, since tightening up the belts. I've noticed, and this has been happening in the past as well, power steering pump, some reason it goes slow and then you can hear the belt screaming. I don't know if the pump is on its way out. I don't know. I generally don't know. But that is another thing that will have to be addressed after the MOT, unless it fails before. Other than that, I'd say we are ready. Compressor is a bust, but we are going to put the other one in. I just don't think we're going to get it done before the ticket. I might have a go at it tomorrow or Monday maybe, I don't know. Today I want a day off now. I've had enough of this thing. So we've got one more job to do, which is give it a good old scrub, get the canopy put back on the back. Yeah. The speedo is calibrated wrong on the gearbox. It's got a 2005 gear drive in on the box because I had the different speedo binnacle put on. One thing I have noticed that since I put these big wheels on, there is a possibility my speedo might be reading closely correct. But we'll have to do a sat nav and see how accurate that is. But it definitely felt 30, felt like 30. You know, when it said 30 on the gauge, it felt like 30. So I am wondering. So yeah, I don't really have a lot more I can say about this really. We're there, we're done. Finito for now. Oh, got a spare wheel to put back on. We did give that a bit of a clean up in the paint, as you can see. Oh, knickers. There you go. That needs to go back on. I'm surprised this vape glass hasn't broke yet, the amount of times I've dropped it. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for viewing, and we'll see you on the next one, which I have no idea what we're doing. Don't know, because I've run out of jobs. I just don't know. See you later.